We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on the Miami Dolphins offensive line, looking at the Colts film, and really just like talking about the season overall. And I think the O-line has actually been a pretty good unit for them, definitely better than people think. I think a lot of people point to the Dolphins offensive line after each game, throw a lot of blame to them. But I think other than like a couple moments, like versus the Bills, they struggled to pass protect, versus the Titans, they weren't the best run blocking unit. But like throughout the rest of the year, I feel like they've done their job, especially when you look at like the talent of the unit compared to the rest of the team. The other ones should be outplaying them by far, and it just hasn't been the case. They've been run blocking really well, and even surprised me with some of the pass protection stuff they've done in like true pass sets. So Dolphins, it's kind of sad that the Dolphins offensive line is playing at such a solid level, and they're still struggling offensively to get anything going. You know, too many mistakes. It's not like they're perfect. Like Eichenberg had a dumb penalty in this game, and there's some pressures given up, but like the sacks and a lot of that were either on Huntley, the quarterback, or on like tight ends actually. But as a unit, they were blocking up front, run blocking really, really well. I think if this can be kept up, the offensive line playing at this level, when Tua comes back in the lineup, that should help the offense out a lot. So it will be interesting to see how that ends up playing out. Not looking too good for the Dolphins with their record, but it's not over until it really is over. So I'm excited to see how they end up looking. But I got to give the offensive line a lot of credit for how they've been playing, because they've definitely been one of the better units out there for the Dolphins offense, which is very surprising. And they've been running a mix of concepts in this game. Outside zone, really enjoy it. One of the players I really want to focus on this is Brewer. Brewer's been outstanding in the run game and playing really well as a pass protection too. He's one of my favorite pickups. I know some people doubted this pickup because, coming from Tennessee, wasn't the best, pass protector, but you're just asked to do different things in Miami, and I just knew his skill set fit perfectly. But watch this, lead outside zone. They kind of set this up perfectly. It gets called for holding right here on Durham Smythe, but it was a weak holding call. It shouldn't have been called. But just watch the right side of the line here. Good job by Liam reaching. Austin Jackson cutting off the safety at the next level. Even though Liam ends up on the ground, which people will point out, he did his job enough to hold that guy and not allow his guy to capture the edge. But look at Brewer, man. Brewer climbs to 41, so he's not covered here. Usually, outside zone, play side, he's not covered. No one's in his gap, so he doesn't have to reach this guy's backside here. All he has to do is, throws a little bit of a drag hand. If this guy tries to shoot into this gap a little harder, he can help out his left guard. But Jones is able to cut him off very quickly. He can instantly climb to the next level and cut off the linebacker. And I don't think you understand, this is not common for a center to be able to move this way and climb up there. Just super, super good play. Good work by the O-line across the board. Good job by Jackson. Armstead didn't have to do too much, but Armstead has been outstanding too. I think Armstead and Brewer have been the best of the bunch. And then the other three have kind of had their good moments, their bad moments, kind of depending on the game. Hasn't been perfect. They've had some, Robert Jones was really struggling early on, but I do think Jones has looked much cleaner these past 2 weeks, which is, so got to give him some credit there. Eichenberg was, kind of, playing okay, I think, throughout the year. Struggled last week. This week, I thought he was okay again. And then Jackson has been pretty up and down, inconsistent. But overall, I think you're taking that if this is your offensive line unit with all the other players that you have on your team. Here, another example, just climbing next level. Dolphins running outside zone toss. And, Brewer just climbing to the next level again. Look at him cut off 41 here like it's nothing. He takes great angles, explosive. Jones just uses his natural leverage advantage here to cut him off. Armstead is so good. Look at him. He's not even looking at this guy. He's already got his eyes to 44. He knows he's not going to block 54. He's just trying to freeze him long enough. Gives Angle the opportunity to get his outside shoulder on him. And then Armstead widen this guy. You got Julian Hill and Tyreek Hill blocking on the edge. Everyone else is just kind of cutting off on the backside. Just beautifully executed on these toss plays. All these different types of concepts. Really, really well done. Here we get to see some wind back action. But really wanted to point out this play just for Armstead. Everyone else is nothing too crazy going on. But just look at Armstead. Get down here. Work this combo with Jones. Look at him basically displace this guy a full gap over. And then still be in position to cut off 44. So Achane can hit that cut lane and pick up, nice 5-6 yard gain. Just really beautiful work by Teron Armstead. Armstead, when healthy, is still one of the best offensive tackles in the league. So really good stuff. This screen, really good job by the Dolphins' 2 best offensive linemen, Armstead and Brewer. Everyone does a good job selling. You get the ball to Johnny Smith's hands, who's been your kind of your best receiving target the past 2 weeks as well. So really good job from Johnny here. Get him the ball. Armstead gets out to this guy. Brewer cuts this guy off. He tries to cross his face. Brewer gets him out of the way. Johnny works off the back of both of them. Really, really nice execution just across the board. This was another penalty. This one was called on Ingold. So, like, even though there's been a lot of penalties, a lot of the time it hasn't been on the offensive line. A lot of time it's been on, like, the tight ends. This time it's on a fullback. Eichenberg had one in this game. But a lot of times it's been on, like, Smythe or Julian Hill. But really good job climbing up there. Interesting how the Dolphins have been working their outside zone stuff. But Jones, right here, he's got this guy play side, so you're trying to reach him. This guy does instantly knife back into the A-gap. So he kind of just gets the natural leverage advantage there because of that. He's able to slow it down. So it creates a huge room. Armstead's able to widen this guy out on the edge. You get angled out here. It should have been worked out perfectly. Brewer gets up to this linebacker very easily again. You really do. Like, if you're a team playing the Dolphins, you really can't run, like, these 4-3, like, whether it's over or under fronts super well against them. You kind of have to be more of a, I feel like, 3-4 team where you can have a guy head up on Brewer. If you give Brewer free reign like this to just work to the second level, he's going to cut off linebackers and help create some explosive runs a lot, because that's just beautiful work by Brewer. Really, really exciting player to watch in this system. Just play after play, just being like that. Here's another example of him climbing up to the next level. Everyone else kind of doing their job. Liam cuts off on the backside, on the backside of this run, cuts off the 2-eye or the 1-tech. Good job by Jones also reaching this guy right here. Ingold and Julian Hill are widening. Good job blocking here on that. Armstead climbs to a linebacker. Just beautiful execution across the board. Dolphins have been doing a really good job of this, where you think, like, either the tight end or the tackle looks like they're going to block the edge defender. They don't end up blocking him, so, like, they put out their hands to get engaged. They don't end up getting engaged. They leave themselves clean, and then Ingold is there to, like, clean up a lot of times and widen. Like, that time it was Latu. And it just works out perfectly. So I really love run game design. Like, that's, like, been my favorite thing to watch with the offense, is the run game design and how, like, they're executing those blocks up front. Other than that, it's been tough to watch, like, the passing game. So hopefully the passing game can improve when Tua comes back. But the run game design and how they've been doing off of that has been pretty good. Even in true pass sets, I thought the Dolphins looked better blocking than usual. Armstead gets isolated 1-on-1 in the backs, like, versus Latu. Does a good job. Jones comes to help late. Brewer, I think, did a really good job in pass protection, just finding some work. Looks like, he's seeing if 44 is coming. He's not. Then finds this guy coming across his face. But just good job blocking across the board there from the Dolphins. They were doing pretty good work in pass protection. Here's some gap scheme stuff. So down block, right here, down block. You get Eichenberg pulling across. He's your kick out guy. Julian Hill's motioning in. He becomes your lead blocker. So he does a good job here working in tandem. Like, Julian Hill is getting a lot. Julian Hill seems like he's the most hated Dolphins player right now, which I think, he definitely deserves his criticism because he's having way too many penalties. But to be fair, he is still the reason he's not been cut or benched like people have asked, he is still your best run blocking tight end. Like, so he gives you the best reps that end up working out on good run plays like this, where he can be a lead blocker. Like, if he doesn't play, who's going to play? Durham Smythe, who's also playing bad football and making a lot of mistakes too. So it's like, I'd rather just have the guy in there that at least has a higher run blocking upside, because those reps can still help with the positive ones. He definitely needs to clean up on it, but he is like a second-year undrafted guy. But overall, good job there. Across the board from the O-line, been blocking up pretty well. Leverage, timing, all of that stuff has been really, really nice. But just creating some clean pockets here, like across the board. They, kind of leave these two isolated on the backside. And I feel like Jackson and Eichenberg do enough there. Like, Huntley has time in the pocket here. He's got, at least 3+ seconds until he tries to escape with his legs. But they gave him a clean pocket to go from, 1 to 2 to even to 3 and still not find anyone to work with there. And that's really not the Dolphins' game. Like, they don't like to do a lot of true pass sets like this. It's not really where they feel comfortable. Well, when they did it versus the Colts, it worked for the most part. But just continued success in the running game, whether it was outside zone, power, counter, even some inside zone duo stuff. But they, down block Brewer and Armstead wash these guys out of the way. Eichenberg kicks out the edge, and it just creates all this space with Robert Jones and Smythe climbing the next level on these guys, playing, smart, good football. Good job by Barrios actually blocking there on the nickel, but just picking up quality plays there, back to back to back. Just more clean pockets. Like, you get a pocket like this, like, yes, it's going to collapse eventually, but, like, if the Dolphins offensive line is giving you a pocket on, like, true pass sets, like, there's no play action here, there's no, like, funky sliding the whole offensive line, maybe pulling an offensive lineman across. This is just true pass set. They're giving you things like this. You got to find someone open. There were people open in this game. They just couldn't get it going. They ended up picking, like, a couple of yards up on the play, but I do feel like everyone else was doing a decent job. This one was a little tough on Liam. He definitely falls down again. But, they give him enough time. He was getting isolated a lot. They were sliding protection a lot to Robert Jones more often. So it was leaving Eichenberg on an island in this game, which was interesting. Usually they kind of do the opposite. But it gave him enough time to release that deep ball, which Tyreek Hill was not able to locate. But just more often, like this time, Colts trying to work some, fancy, slanting their defensive line up front. Dolphins slide their protection to the left here. Eichenberg passing stuff off. This is a play Huntley gets hurt on, but he got hurt when he escaped the pocket. Like this pass off right here too between Brewer's, like, reading this, gets this. Eichenberg throws the defender into Brewer. He's able to hold him up very quickly. Then Eichenberg finds the looper 97. There's good work across the board. They're giving Jackson some help on, right there. Armstead gets isolated one-on-one, wins his rep pretty easily. He gets help from Jones late. But just good work up front, passing off these stunts. Like, definitely the twists and all of those was just really well executed. I mean, look at the running game. I love how they motion their tight ends in like this. And he basically becomes the lead blocker, and, like, the timing of it. He has to skip here too. He does a little hop, boom, then gets upfield, allows Eichenberg to kick out, then gets up on 41, throws his body into it. Good job executing. A lot of times Brewer just lets these guys get upfield too. Like, when Brewer's down blocking, or even when he's, like, trying to reach, sometimes he lets these guys shoot upfield. As long as he could just get them out of the way and use his positioning, like, he doesn't need to drive people and take them out of position. Like, he's taking them out. They're taking themselves out of position. He's just using his body to shield. He knows, unless this guy tackles him right at the mesh point here, he's not making a play. So he's just shielding this, and it just works out perfectly. He has no chance there, and you get another gash run. So Dolphins offensive line has not really been the problem. They haven't been perfect. They've definitely had bad plays, but, I mean, every offensive line has bad plays. It hasn't been, like, anything egregious. I don't think they've been at the bottom of the league in most metrics. I think the film backs up that they're playing just, like, pretty solid as a unit. Some players will have down games, but, like, overall, I think going into the season, they're probably playing better than, what people are asking for and what people would have thought of. And for how well, like, and to the level they've been playing, I think the Dolphins offense just needs to be much better. Hopefully Tua can change those things, but the receivers got to be better. I think sometimes even the running backs need to be better. There needs to be less fumbling, less turnovers, less penalties just across the board on everyone. Will those issues actually get fixed? Probably not. I think, with Tua back, some of those will get fixed. You'll definitely have, a better margin for, like, there'll be more of a margin for error where you don't have to worry about as much, because when you have the backups in, it definitely can really exemplify those mistakes and make it even worse than it is. But hopefully that can get kind of turned around. They play the Cardinals next. I'll have a Cardinals video out. I'll have a Tua's video out after this week. Cardinals defense is not very good. I think statistically they're in the bottom on both pass defense and run defense and scoring, I believe. If you watch the film, they don't have the most talented unit. They don't really get a lot of pressure up front. So it'll be interesting to see how the Dolphins kind of match up versus them. I just want to see one game where they put up like 30 plus. It's been a long time since that. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Even if they don't win, I just want to see a good offensive performance, throwing the ball and creating big explosive plays. So if you guys love the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, peace.